Welcome back. I'm Neil Chase, author of Iron Dogs, writer-director of the thriller feature Spin the Wheel. You can find links to both below. And if you're new to scripts, let me save you some pain right now. Most beginners make the exact same mistakes. And the worst part, they don't even know they're making them until they've already lost a lot of steam and probably abandoned their script. I don't want that for you. It's one of the reasons I love story coaching and teaching screenwriting. Because once you understand how scripts work, how to write in a way that's visual, fast, and emotionally engaging, well, you unlock the power to create movies that people actually want to watch. So today, I'm going to share the 3 biggest beginner screenwriting mistakes I see all the time. And more importantly, how you can avoid them. Because the truth is, you don't have to stumble in the dark like I did when I first started. With the right guidance, you can skip the rookie mistakes and actually finish your first draft. So grab your popcorn. Let's get started. But first, hit that like button, subscribe for more writing tip videos like this one, and ring that bell so you don't miss what's coming next. So what is screenwriting? Well, simply put, it's the art of writing for film. I mean, it's not the same as writing a novel or a short story or even a play. But a screenplay is the blueprint for a movie. It's what directors, actors, and crew use to bring the story to life on screen. And here's why it's so important. No matter how big the budget, how flashy the effects, or how famous your actors, if the script doesn't work, well, the movie doesn't work. Period. Everything begins with the story on the page. It's why I always say story comes first, before message, before spectacle, before anything else. Because if your audience doesn't connect with the characters and their journey, well, none of the rest matters. And the problem is most beginners don't learn this right way. They make mistakes that stall their scripts, kill their confidence, and keep them from finishing. I know, because I made those same mistakes when I was starting out. So let's start with the most common one. Writing like a novel. Now, this is something 99% of new screenwriters do. Why? Well, because it's the way we learn to write. Long paragraphs full of backstory, internal thoughts, flowery descriptions, stuff that looks great in prose, but kills the flow of a script. Remember, a screenplay isn't a book. It's not meant to be read in big chunks. It's meant to be scanned quickly by directors, producers, actors, anyone else on the film team. They need to be able to flip through the pages and instantly see the movie in their heads so that they can then translate it to the screen. If your script looks like a wall of text, well, it won't get read. Period. Let me give you a quick comparison. Imagine a paragraph like this. John trudged slowly down the hallway, his mind filled with memories of his lost childhood. The flickering light above caught the dust motes as they floated lazily through the air. It reminded him of the nights he spent hiding in his father's basement, scared and alone. He wondered if life would ever be the same again, now that everything he had worked for was gone. He took a deep breath, knowing he'd never find peace again. Now, while that might work in a novel, it's full of stuff audiences can't see on screen. In a screenplay, it should look more like this. Interior, hallway, night, flickering lights, dust motes, shadows ripple across the walls. John hesitates, his breath heavy. Haunted. See? It's short, visual, cinematic. You can see it instantly. So here's a pro tip. Think in shots, not sentences. Limit your text to 3 action lines or less. Screenplays are designed to flow quickly, and whitespace, the lack of text on a page, is your best friend. So write only what we see and hear. If it doesn't show up on screen, cut it. Take the original script for Alien as an example. It describes the Nostromo's crew waking up from hypersleep, like this. The lid on a freezer pops open. Slowly, groggily, Kane sits up. Pale. Kane rubs the sleep from his eyes. Stands, looks around, stretches, looks at the other freezer compartments, scratches, moves off. It's not poetry. No fancy words, no clutter, but it's lean, visual, and direct. Just enough information to paint a mental picture so that the production team can build on it. And that leads us to mistake number 2, not knowing the ending. Now, this is one I see all the time. Beginners starting a screenplay without really knowing where it's going. I mean, I get it. You're excited. You've got this great idea buzzing around your head and you just want to dive in. It's like going on a road trip without a destination. I mean, sure, you might enjoy the drive, And if you're lucky, you might eventually get somewhere worth going. But it's more likely you'll just end up frustrated and lost. And that's why so many scripts stall out at page 30. Think about your favorite movies: Die Hard, The Matrix, The Sixth Sense. Every single one of them builds towards a clear, inevitable ending. The audience doesn't know exactly how we'll get there, but the story is always driving forward, always towards a specific goal. Now, I'm not saying you need to know every single scene before you start, but you at least need a roadmap. When you know your ending, well, you can plant seeds early, foreshadow, build tension. When the payoff comes, it feels earned. When you don't know your ending, you can't set up payoffs. You can't foreshadow. You can't build tension that then explodes in the climax. So here's a pro tip. Before you start your script, write down a one-sentence version of your ending. Don't worry about details, just nail the final destination. For example, Die Hard. John McClane rescues his wife. The Matrix. Neo becomes the One. The Sixth Sense. Malcolm realizes he's been dead the whole time. Even if you don't know every scene, that single sentence gives you a compass. Every scene you write should pull your character and your audience closer to that destination. Let's look at The Sixth Sense. That script only works because M. Night Shyamalan knew the ending from the start. The twist that Malcolm is dead isn't just tacked on at the end. It's baked into every single scene that precedes it. The way characters interact with him, the moments of silence, the absence of physical contact. Because Shyamalan had that specific ending in mind, he could plant seeds all the way through. The payoff feels both surprising and inevitable. That's the mark of a great ending. If he hadn't known the ending in advance, well, the movie wouldn't just be weaker. It wouldn't work at all. So before you start writing, ask yourself, where is this going? You can always adjust it later, but knowing where you're going will determine how you get there. And that's what makes a story. And speaking of which, the third big mistake I see beginners make is writing characters who are too perfect. I mean, it's tempting, right? You want your hero to be strong, likable, brave, someone the audiences can root for, somebody who can easily overcome the things that hold the rest of us mere mortals back. So you write someone who's got it together, inside and out, because if anyone can win in the end, it's them. But here's the truth. Perfect characters are boring. If they don't struggle with flaws, if they never make mistakes, then there's no tension, no growth, nothing for us to connect with. Audiences don't want perfect. They want human. I mean, think about John McClane in Die Hard. He's not some flawless action figure. He's stubborn, reckless. He's terrible at relationships. He spends the entire first part of the movie fighting with his estranged wife. But those flaws make him relatable and make his growth exactly what makes that final act of bravery so satisfying. Or Ellen Ripley in Aliens. I mean, she's a survivor, yeah, but she's also traumatized, vulnerable, utterly alone, literally a woman out of time. On top of it, she's scared to death of facing the xenomorphs again. But she's also driven to save her teammates and especially Newt, despite all of those things that are stacked against her. That fear is what makes her choice to confront the alien queen, and by extension, herself, so powerful. Now imagine if McClane was the perfect husband, perfect cop, perfect hero, or if Ripley never felt fear or loneliness or regret. Those movies would instantly lose the heart that makes them unforgettable in the first place. So here's a pro tip. Before you start writing, ask yourself 3 simple questions about your main character. What's their flaw? Meaning, are they arrogant, fearful, too trusting? How does this flaw hold them back? Does it ruin their relationships? Does it put them in danger? And finally, how do they grow by the end? Do they overcome it, or does it destroy them? Your character arc lives in the space between flaw and growth, because that's where audiences connect. Look at Good Will Hunting as a great example. Will's not perfect. I mean, he's brilliant, sure, but he's also arrogant, he's distrustful, self-sabotaging. Those flaws drive the entire story. They cause conflict with his friends, with Sean, his therapist, and with Skylar, the woman he loves. The heart of the movie isn't about Will's genius. It's about whether he'll overcome his flaws and let himself grow as a person. That's what keeps us invested. Without those flaws, the movie would be just smart kid solves math problems. Instead, it's a character journey that audiences love decades later. So let's recap. The three biggest beginner screenwriting mistakes are writing like a novel instead of a movie, starting without knowing your ending, and creating flawless, boring characters. If you can avoid those, you're already ahead of the game of most beginners. But here's the thing, these are just the basics. To really finish your first screenplay, you need knowledge, support, and feedback. And that's exactly why I created Zero to Hero Screenwriting for Beginners. Over 12 weeks, we meet live every week online. I teach you the fundamentals, structure, character, dialogue, format, and then we put them to action with small, manageable assignments. You share your pages, get real-time feedback from me, and watch other writers get coached too, just like a real writer's room. So by week 12, well, you've got a 10 to 15 page short screenplay you can actually call your own. But more importantly, you'll have the confidence and the system to write the next one and the one after that. And here's the best part. This isn't some massive course with hundreds of students. I purposely keep it small so that you get my direct attention and feedback on your work. So click the link in the description. Grab your spot in Zero to Hero before enrollment closes. And stop wishing you were a screenwriter. Become one instead. But hey, these are just my 2 cents. Give me yours. Which of these 3 mistakes can you catch yourself making most often? Or is there one that I didn't mention that I should have? Let me know in the comments. And until next time, stay creative.